Picking one experience is really hard. It'll probably be a book if I'm totally honest, but I feel like it's boring to talk about books now. It should be a play because I'm a theater director, but I'm still going to go for a game. 2 games actually, because I can't really decide. I think one I enjoyed more, but one is really important for art as an art form. But I'll give some backstory. I've always loved Russian literature and Eastern European. I think it's very literature and art. I think it's very real, kind of depressive at times, but also very optimistic in a weird way if you actually know how to access those art forms and understand those. You need a very deep connection with depressing art to be able to understand it and not just think, that's fucking rough. So what I've picked first is actually Disco Elysium. It's a video game made in Estonia, and where you play as an amnesiac, drunk, alcoholic detective. You lost all your memory, and you have to solve a murder while being confronted with your addiction, with your views on politics, with your how you perceive yourself as a failure, and how you try to overcome it or just embrace it. And it asks a lot of very, very philosophical and poetic questions to the player, how they want to view the world and themselves, and evolve their character through that. It's written beautifully. It really is a masterpiece. The art is amazing. The music is gorgeous, and it really aims to change our Western way of thinking, and I really think it succeeds in that. The other one I've chosen is Pathologic 2, even though it's a remake of 1. Also a video game, but it's also a play in a weird way. I've done a project myself where I've created a play in Unity, in a video game engine, which was a very interesting experience to be able to combine those two and see what ends up happening. But Pathologic, you are literally put in the game as an actor, as the player, but also as the main character, and it really asks these questions of who are you, what role do you perform, and can you actually change the outcome of a set story, and why would you believe that you actually can, and how do you deal with failure as well if you can't follow the storyline in a linear way, if you're just not good enough as a player. What does that mean? It asks a lot of interesting questions. It sets tradition against progression. It sets old cultures against new cultures, the changing and coming of new cultures and the evolutions of it. And it doesn't shy away from philosophy, poetry, and themes of depression and hopelessness, while still being kind of optimistic, even though it's difficult to be optimistic in that game, but it kind of shows you how, if you're able to overcome it. I think that's just beautifully done in a video game, and not something we see often. It's very difficult as an art form to actually play those games, which is a good thing. Art should be allowed to be difficult to take in.